All right, time for us to talk some Big Ten football right now with the Jason's Deli Big Ten Report. He's Eric, I'm Rich. Lots of stuff to talk about. None of it's very good. Well, at least not for the Wisconsin Badgers. If you watch that
playoff
game,
bound, baby.
Yeah, if you watched that game yesterday, I apologize. I don't know why I'm apologizing for the Badgers, but it just was not good. Didn't start good, didn't end good. Alex Hornibrook out for the game. Jack Cohen goes in. I was kind of hoping for a spark. I texted you before the game. I said, hey, Wisconsin season just got really interesting. It got interesting for the wrong reason.
That's about what everyone was thinking, was hoping. So if you didn't like Alex Hornibrook, people thought they had some hope going into that game, and I don't know. You get a young guy in there. Yes, he's taking some snaps in practice, but that's not going to translate necessarily to a win in Northwestern. They've had struggles there historically. It's just, that's how it goes.
Yeah, it has been the house of horrors. You know, it's very rare that you're a team that goes on the road, intercepts their quarterback 3 times, and oh, by the way, you lose by 2 touchdowns, and a lot of that is because the Badgers just couldn't hold on to the football.
Well, it was a simple game plan for if you're Northwestern. It's, all right, let's stop Jonathan Taylor. Did that, caused 2 fumbles. He was putting it on the ground, and he's got to clean that up. And then you're obviously, the other part of it is, let's force Jack Cohen into some, uncomfortable situations and make him throw it. And he couldn't really do that on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and he didn't seem very comfortable with Jake Ferguson, who's been Alex Hornibrook's favorite target.
Sure.
So that just never materialized, and it just never got going for the Badgers, who right now, you take a look at the standings in the Big Ten West, done. I just don't see a path right now for the Badgers to be able to get to where they want to go. They need Northwestern at this point to lose not once but twice for them to be able to make the Big Ten championship game. I don't see it happening.
Iowa loses. That was good news for Wisconsin.
Good. Yeah, that helped.
But you're still looking at a difficult path for Wisconsin to get there. As you mentioned, the head-to-head now lost to Northwestern, which now Wisconsin's 1-5 since 2000 at Ryan Field. So that's not a good stat. We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, and I don't know how they have home field advantage there. I mean, if you're watching that game, like the stands, especially at the beginning of the football game, were half full. I mean, it's just not a place that generates a lot of fear for people. It's not very loud. It's a very open kind of stadium. But for whatever reason, the Badgers have struggled mightily there.
Well, Northwestern would just as soon play in an empty park somewhere, and
right?
It's just whatever reason that is. It's just hard for Wisconsin. I want to say hard for them to get up for that game, but hard for them to perform.
We've seen Indiana play well as we're moving on to other scores right now throughout the Big Ten season. Didn't do it so much against Minnesota. That was one of those Friday night games that kind of snuck up on you. I didn't even see a lot of that football game. I ended up just seeing it in highlights. It was like, oh yeah, I turned on my football on Saturday, and there's a Minnesota-Indiana score.
Well, how about Indiana? Going in fourth quarter, they scored 22 straight points to tie that game up, and Minnesota's thinking, we're on the cusp of getting our first conference win, and they were in trouble. They did end up getting out of that. You're looking at Hoosiers now with a winning, haven't finished one time. Hold on, let me just rephrase that. One time they've finished with a winning record in the last 23 years.
Wow.
So
that's crazy
tough,
to think of.
Tough for them to not be able to complete the comeback. For Minnesota, though,
yeah, and I don't see how you could use that excuse. They're a basketball school. Kentucky's a basketball school. Kentucky, all of a sudden, in the top 10.
Yeah, it's been a weird year.
Yeah, no doubt.
College football.
Penn State, a winner over Iowa, like you said. Good for Bucky that at least that happened. It still gives you kind of hope because the Badgers have already beaten Iowa, but Penn State gets a big win over Iowa, who had been red hot going into that game.
Well, and that was another one where Penn State had to escape late. I mean, they had, Nate Stanley ended up being sacked, flipped the ball to his offensive lineman there on that very last drive, and ended up securing the win for Penn State, and now they're going at Michigan, so it doesn't get any easier for them. But you're looking at, the Hawkeyes, they scored the first 12 points in that game, so they were definitely in a place where, A, for Wisconsin, it looks good to have a competitive Iowa team, and B, Iowa was competitive in that one, and Penn State escapes the chance of having their 3rd straight home loss, and they're not the team that we thought they might be in this year.
Yeah,
either.
And Iowa, the big key in that one, I just don't think they're explosive enough to give up 30 points on the road and win a football game against a team like Penn State. So we take a look at some other scores around the Big Ten as well. Purdue had been red hot. They had blown out Ohio State. bit of a letdown for them as they go on the road and Michigan State handles them.
I mean, you had a backup quarterback coming in here. I want to get his first name correct. Rocky Lombardi coming in and taking over for Brian Lewerke, and you're getting the win with a backup quarterback, a guy who was getting his first career start. And Purdue, remember, they just beat Ohio State. So you're looking at a team that's kind of up and down for Purdue, but I think positive things for them in the coming years.
Somehow the Maryland Terrapins are 5-3.
How about that?
Not only are they 5-3, they roll Illinois by 30 points. Lovie Smith and his Tampa 2 defense, I don't know, at this point, maybe kind of antiquated as his beard.
Yeah. Well, two wins in a row for Nebraska, so they're really rolling.
Big win over Bethune-Cookman there for the Cornhuskers. So Scott Frost now, the heat getting off of Scott Frost a little bit as, boy, the Cornhuskers rolling at 2-6. So, okay, what's up next for Bucky next week and what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at another week where Wisconsin's at Rutgers versus Rutgers, so that should be a game that you get back on track. But we've seen struggles before. Remember, Northwestern struggled to get a win over Rutgers the previous week.
Yeah, Bucky definitely needs to get back on track. We will talk about it next week and see if they do. For Eric, I'm Rich. Thanks to Jason's Deli for this report.